the next best practice that you can implement in your distribution center is something called vendor performance. So vendor performance is basically, you as a retailer or a distributor or, a e-commerce order fulfiller, you are buying your product from, different vendors. So when the vendors ship to your DC, right, you can rate them on how well they are doing in terms of compliance. So, there is a reason why these compliance requirements are there, right? And the reason is because, for example, let's say Walmart or, Staples or Amazon, right? All these big distribution, they have all big distributions because they're so much merchandise is being pushed through their supply chain and they need a lot of automation. They need a lot of material handling equipment. They need a lot of sorters. They need a lot of, conveyors. They need a lot of robots that are, moving these boxes, moving this merchandise, moving this product through their distribution center and, sending it to their stores and, fulfilling orders and so forth. So when they have all this material handling equipment, robots and everything, they require certain, box sizes and certain labels and certain barcodes. The barcodes have to be of this size. The box can only be of this size. If it's outside of that size, then it has to be marked as a non-conveyable or a non-sortable or a, robotable, right? Something like that. Because, nowadays, there's a lot of robots hitting the DC. So, all those things will have to be complied with. Only then the product will move smoothly through this, all this different material handling equipment all these different material handling equipments are used. So all the boxes, whatever you're shipping, will go through those MHE only, smoothly, right? So it's very important that, as a distributor, you rate your vendor and give them feedback. Hey, if there is a box issue, if the box is too big or too small, it cannot ride your conveyor. That means, give them a range of box sizes to say, hey, you got to ship in this, the dimension have to be this. And also, hey, the label has to be applied in certain place because only then the scanners can scan. And also the barcode in the label has to be, certain size, only then the scanner can scan. If the barcode is way too small, the scanner cannot scan. If the barcode is way too big, the scanners cannot scan as well. So that is all, documented in something called a compliance manual, and the compliance manual is issued to the vendor that's shipping to your facility. And obviously, right, I mean, there are horror stories here as well. The compliance manual is so big and it just takes a long time to understand all the details. And then sometimes there is a big difference, time delay between what is in the compliance manual versus what is actually being requested. And sometimes even these retailers use this, chargeback. That's when, you get a chargeback. Right, as a vendor, if you're shipping to some big retailer, and if you're not following their compliance requirements, then you're going to get a chargeback because the box, instead of riding through the conveyor properly and getting it to the destination, either in a reserve location or in a active piece-pick location, it ends up somewhere else, and somebody has to manually find that box and manually do some manual work to put the box in the right place. That means, let's say, you could, let's say somebody spent 1 hour fixing that issue, then the retailer is going to charge back to the vendor saying, hey, this is a chargeback because we had to spend 1 hour because the label was not applied properly or the barcode was not the right size or the box was not the right size, right? So, incorporating a vendor performance program helps to some extent because, you can drive some of the compliance requirements, and of course you want to be careful because you don't want to issue too much chargebacks, and that's going to create a bad taste, right, in the vendor's side. So that's something you want to think about. But incorporating a vendor performance requirements is compliance requirements is a good idea. That's a best practice, so people will know when they're shipping. Hey, make sure all these are followed, and make sure you pack the box in a certain way, you use these size boxes, all those things, right? So I'll call out that clearly in the compliance manual. So that's something to think about. And basically the way it works is there'll be different vendor performance codes. If it's a box issue, label issue, barcode issue, so you'll create B1, B2, or box 1, box issue, create all those codes, and then also assign some kind of time against the code. So if code 1 is applied, that means you're spending 10 minutes on that box. That means, if the labor rate is like $15 per hour, then certain number of dollars is going to be assigned to that code, and that's the chargeback that goes back to the vendor, right? So like that, we can create multiple codes and use that codes. And if the vendor is so good, you can even completely, skip the quality inspection. We'll talk about quality inspection down the line. So that's something to think about, incorporating some kind of vendor performance program and say, hey guys, please follow these compliance requirements. So it's easy for us to handle the box here, things like that, right? So please, please let us know what you think and share your comments below, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you.